time, it is powerless against people making the positive choice to transcend it and develop relationships that are a source of peace. In this book, we opt for a nuanced and broad approach to the complex phenomenon of hate. To do this, it is necessary to correctly understand the phenomenon, which is why we start with an investigation into the essence of hate. The questions, what is hate, and where is hate expressed, constitute the core of the first chapter. Then we analyze the factors and processes that provide an insight into the why of hate. The road that someone follows from experiencing feelings of hate and possibly hateful behavior with radical consequences as a result is the theme of the third chapter. We call that the way of Erida. Not only the victim and hater are involved, but also the bystanders and the community. Hate affects everyone. In 3 consecutive chapters, we subsequently describe different levels of eridaic behavior: hatred between individuals, between groups, and between nations. Opposite the road of Erida is the Irenic road, the road of peace. That is why, in the last chapter, we look for the possibilities to constructively deal with hate and to promote peace so that the ground between people remains an oasis, that is, fertile. Chapter 1. Roots of Hatred. Hate is a pressing burden. He causes the heart to sink deep into the chest and lies heavy as a tombstone on all joys. Goethe. 1. Hate, a complex dynamic. For centuries, writers and poets, and also psychologists and philosophers, have been fascinated by the phenomenon of hatred. In accordance with their backgrounds, they focus on different aspects of hate and use different perspectives. To the simple question, what is hate? Obtaining a clear answer is, therefore, not possible. We develop a nuanced definition in this chapter, which takes into account a wide range of factors and processes, both on a personal and on a broad societal level. An analysis of many definitions teaches us that hate is a process that contains 3 components, namely a feeling, a conviction, and a behavior. 1.1. Hate as a process. Hate is first and foremost a process. It is much more than just a characteristic. The person, hater or hate victim, is both the subject and direct object, depending on whether or not a real, threatening experience, of himself or others, leads to negative feelings, anger, jealousy, aversion, etc., that might incite a person to act. Hate usually keeps a person in its grasp for a long time, sometimes for life. It is a dynamic that can possibly develop further, become more intense and violent, more visible, involve more parties, etc. Paul Ekman mentions that hate is a persistent, intense antipathy, accompanied by horror and contempt as a result of suffering. Hate gnaws and takes over a hater so that he becomes obsessed with the hated person or group. The hate victim, too, risks being involved with hate for a long time. For example, a permanent confrontation with a perpetrator of a hate crime can lead to negative consequences for a victim. In that case, the victim hates the perpetrator more and more. For example, a drunk driver drives a car, a child dies. The driver is barely punished and subsequently shows up in the village acting cheerfully as if nothing happened. The media can also keep hatred alive by repeatedly giving attention to a hating person or group. In major hate-driven conflicts, those in power can use all kinds of resources to ensure that what once ignited the hatred of their followers is not extinguished. A very traditional means to keep a group together is to always confront it with a hate message through songs, slogans, and banners. To be effective, these means must appeal to the emotions of the people for whom they are intended. At a political level, propaganda, scare tactics, defamation campaigns, and indoctrination are known means.